Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. My name is Rafael Mazuz, and I'm the chairman and CEO of Advanced Wound Care Global, and very happy to be here today to speak a little bit about our company, our platform, and what we hope to bring to Asia in the coming months and years ahead, and the partners that we're looking for. So we have a bit of a unique platform here. We are launching centers of excellence for advanced wound care in Asia and in other emerging markets. So what our company does is we develop, equip, manage, and empower centers of excellence that are ultra-modern, high-tech, and value-based for advanced care, wound care delivery and in areas where the need and opportunity are the greatest. So first of all, what are advanced wounds? I mean, this is a medical conference, but probably many, if not most people, don't really know what an advanced wound is. So what it is a wound that does not or is not expected to heal within 4 weeks or so. And so advanced wound care, it ties together all of the technologies, oncology, surgery, diabetes care, kidney care, infectious disease, and many other specialties that impact these wounds to not heal. So sometimes they're called a complex or a difficult wound or ulcer. And there's a certain subset of advanced wounds, many of them actually, which are called chronic wounds. And these are wounds like diabetic foot ulcers, pressure ulcers, and others that are not due to like a burn or a trauma or a surgery, or maybe they are originally, but they're not healing because of some other chronic disease process. So if we look at a few common types of advanced wounds, now I think looking at this, you'll see that this is actually much more common, including in Asia, than maybe we think. So maybe before this discussion, we didn't even know what an advanced wound or a chronic wound was. But looking at these, it's clear that this encompasses a huge subset of medical conditions. Everything from diabetic foot ulcer, DFUs, all kinds of cancers are considered wounds, especially if they're at the skin or the surface of the tissue, or if there's a surgery to remove cancer, like a stomach cancer or a prostate cancer or breast cancer, and that leaves a big wound outside to heal that doesn't close easily, or maybe the chemotherapy or radiation therapy is causing problems with the healing. Of course, trauma and burn wounds are advanced wounds if they're major, like from a motorcycle accident or some large burn or something like that. Pressure ulcer or PU is not one that we hear a lot about, but it's a huge one. Patients who have mobility issues, nutrition issues, or just old age, and they're in a hospital or a wheelchair or not very mobile, they can get these pressure ulcers, which can really be terrible. We have venous and arterial insufficiency, so any problem with the vascular system, the capillaries, the veins, the arteries, the heart as well, can create their own category of wounds. And then we have surgical complications, which could be because they're large wounds, because of bad surgical technique, or just because of any of these other factors like nutrition or diabetes or old age that is causing a problem for the wound to heal by itself. So it's very, very common. In the US, where I'm speaking to you from now, we have 7 to 8 million per annum advanced wounds. And in the world, there are an estimated 100 million advanced wounds globally. In fact, I even read a study out of China recently by Professor Fu Xiaobing that said that even in China alone, there might be as many as 30 to 40 million advanced wounds a year. So it's a huge medical problem that we don't think about it. We hear about cancer, we hear about heart disease, diabetes, but these advanced wounds is like a hidden need for a specialty. Now, obviously most of the population is in the emerging markets. There's pretty much as many people in all of Asia, more people in Asia than there are in the rest of the world combined in Asia Pacific. But as the aging population and chronic disease grow, the need for AWC grows also. And right now, 96% of the specialty wound care clinics and facilities are in the developed markets, and 91% of those are in the US. So if we look here at this graph, you can see that on a per capita basis, per person basis, there are almost 6.4 wound clinics per million in the US, and in all of Asia, or I mean, this is representative of Asia and the other emerging markets, it's a very small fraction of that. China, even by itself, China added more than 300 wound care centers in the past 5 years. China has a new law that every tier 1 and tier 2 hospital in China within the coming months and years must have an advanced wound care department. It's a government requirement, and that's been fueling the growth as well, but the need is everywhere. Now, this is the opportunity. Most of the attendees here at Medical Fair Asia are product firms, and that makes sense. And you might recognize some of these names from the left: 3M, which acquired KCI in their largest acquisition ever recently, Smith & Nephew, Molnica, Coloplast, Convatec, Urgo. These are brands you might see at the trade shows or at your clients. They're global brands. Most of them are in Europe and the US. And there are some major Asian players like Daewoo in Korea, and Alcare in Japan, and Winter Medical, and hundreds of others in China and in some other markets. So these product companies are competing for about 8 to 9 billion US dollars a year, which is a nice market, and they do very well. Many of them are publicly traded firms, and that's great. But the services market is a $100 billion per annum market globally. And while every hospital and almost every clinic is going to be treating some of these wounds, or many of these wounds, there are no major global companies or no major Asia companies that are focused on this, like more than $1 billion a year for the company. And all of the large ones or mid-sized ones are only really in the US for services. So you have here a market of services that is more than 10 times as big as the products market, yet in Asia and in many countries, the infrastructure and the companies are just not there. And that's what this opportunity is all about. So here's a brief animation. There's no sound, you don't need, but these are our centers of excellence that we bring, our clinics, and they're ultra modern. They're connected, everything from the patient experience upon signing in with AI and machine learning, to the diagnostics, taking photos and measurements of the wound and tracking the diagnoses and healing, to the interventions, what we call debridement, removing of dead tissue, and growth factors, and oxygen therapies, and all of the advanced dressings, as well as the remote patient monitoring, sensors and dressings, and all of those fascinating things. We tie them all together. We're an integrator. Like Apple integrates a lot of technologies in the iPhone, we are an integrator to integrate these technologies for advanced wound care centers. Zoom just messed up the presentation. Wasn't having fun, but let me just go back out and in. Excuse me 1 second. Okay. So, as I mentioned, these are showcasing what excellence looks like of all the technologies and services together. So some of the categories of things that we bring to Asia, and we're hoping to open our first one in Asia in 2021, are computer vision and hyperspectral imaging for taking photos of the wound, automatic measurements, identifying perfusion, blood circulation in the wound, and many other factors. We have a lot of physical and biochemical diagnostics, and we have AI and predictive analytics through our partners, which include many of those global multinational corporations that we saw previously. Another type of innovation that we bring in our solution is a full suite of the most advanced therapeutics and interventions in the world. So for debridement, there's all kinds of ultrasonic products. I mentioned here's one of the oxygenators that we like to use, biological, cellular, and tissue-based products, advanced dressings to manage infection and moisture in the wound, NPWT, which is negative pressure wound therapy, and we have partnerships with most of the leading medtech firms in this space. One exciting area is the digital health and the patient monitoring and prevention. All kinds of RPM, remote patient monitors, sensors and dressings for communicating in between visits and allowing the cost to go down with the quality of outcomes to go up. And of course, we integrate all of that with telemed and telemanagement into our platform. Now, one type of partner that we're looking for, we have standalone facilities that we can open, which are great, and also for hospitals or polyclinics. There's huge revenue opportunity for this, from the procedures, from the dressing changes, from the home care, from product sales within the facility. And there are also value-based models working with payers and governments to treat hundreds of thousands or millions or tens of millions of people under our platform, as well as clinical trial revenue that we have partnerships with to get that for your facility, for the facilities. It's also a magnet, so it brings patients. These patients, as you can imagine, are very sick, so when they come for their diabetic foot ulcer, we can get them set up with primary care or diabetic nutrition with the hospital or clinic partner. If they come for a vascular wound, like a venous ulcer, we can set them up with diagnostics and venous ablations and other treatments that are needed. And for all kinds of surgical, orthopedic surgery, plastic surgery, medical, and other complementary and adjunctive service lines, we can pull them in, and it becomes very profitable for our partners as well. As you can imagine, the quality and satisfaction, whether it's JCI or just having better metrics and reduced surgical infections, or pressure ulcers or readmissions, is a huge value, and all kinds of efficiencies within your healthcare system or your country's healthcare system. So we have multiple approaches. It's very flexible. We can, one of our projects is to lease space and just build and operate our own facility. So we could take investment or medtech partners to do that. That's very easy, as well as franchising our model to other markets throughout Asia. We are happy to do joint venture for investment and other know-how, such as construction or a medical device. Or we can do management only. If you or your partner, maybe a customer, has a hospital that wants an advanced wound care center of excellence, we can go in and manage that for them. Some market and site requirements. It needs to be a high population area, but throughout Asia, this 1.5 million population is for the region, not just the city. Like for the province or the state, it's really not difficult for most countries in Asia, for all countries in Asia, actually. They all have cities meeting that. Strong private healthcare demand and services infrastructure. Unmet wound care needs, which is virtually all of Asia, actually, and a favorable regulatory environment. We're looking for partners. This is the site requirements of space that we need. These are not tiny centers, but they're also not huge. They're very mid-sized. Data we need for all of our technology and medical tourism, complementary service lines, and in some cases funding. In some cases, we're happy to fund 100% ourselves, depending on the situation. While this will be opening our first center of excellence in Asia, we have very deep expertise in Asia and the US and all Latin America, the Middle East, Europe. We have opened these types of facilities in these markets. We've advised throughout Asia Pacific many times. We are not just a US firm coming to Asia with no idea what's going on. We actually understand very well the dynamics of most of the markets in Asia Pacific, including advanced wound care and serving on faculty in Asia, and training and advisory, etc. Our ideal partners include healthcare services firms, so like an IHH or a Sunway or something like that type of, or even a smaller private firm or polyclinic. Medical tourism companies are great. There are already even a couple of clinics, wound clinics in Thailand, that have huge amounts of medical tourists from the Middle East coming. So it's a viable model even for coming outside of Asia to Asia, and especially within Asia. MedTech or digital health firms with innovative solutions, especially digital health, AI, remote monitoring, sensors. These are great partners for our platform. And finally, strategic operators and investors with expertise in and enthusiasm about APAC healthcare. So with that, I will end the formal presentation. If there are any questions, feel free to type them in the box. We don't have much time left. Fill out, there's a survey link here at the bottom, which will go to our partner, Key Medical, who's an exhibitor here, and thank you to Key Medical for inviting us to present this platform, and we're very happy to be partnered with you. And you are welcome to contact me personally, and we have more at our website, as well as a contact form there. So many ways to get in touch. And if that's it, thank you to the sponsors, and thank you to Key Medical, and I hope to be in touch with you soon. Take care.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mazuz, for your presentation. So attendees, if you wish to recap any points or watch this presentation again, the session has been recorded and will be available for on-demand viewing until 18 December. You can find the video under the Agenda tab in the Medical Fair Asia Digital Edition portal. So there's also a survey link right below here. Do take some time to complete the form as we would like to hear from you. So once again, thank you so much for joining us in this webinar. We hope to see you again next time. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.